So I'm having to record this video twice because I didn't hit the record button. I'm at Woods using the latest technology that I'm not used to using. I don't have a place to record, so I'm in his office. I'm building a new set.
That's the second time you've messed up with that microphone.
Game Chaser Mysteries. I get asked a lot of questions. Hey, if people keep asking the same thing over and over again, it's probably considered a mystery. So I'm going to compile 5 of them. 5 mysteries of the Game Chasers, of the series. I'm going to reveal today. I'm going to get to the bottom of it. See, this one's already going better because I feel like I've done it once, and the second time is always better. This sponsored video is sponsored by World of Tanks. I gotta be like you. You jump around and stuff, right? I'm on your set. Well, you don't jump around?
I don't think I jump
Damn.
around.
Okay.
I think I used to.
What about this?
Yeah, I do that every time.
World of Tanks is free to play on the PC with over 100 million people worldwide. You can download over 550 tanks in more than 40 battle arenas. And now, just for us 80s kids, they are collaborating with G.I. Joe. You can now purchase G.I. Joe Breakthrough Tank Style and Cobra Battle Operational Assault Tank Style. You can now make 2 corresponding tanks look like the classic G.I. Joe toys. Classic, and that's the key, because we all like it classic here, because we're classic and classy and stuff. And if you use the invite code, you can complete G.I. Joe missions and receive Cobra emblems and G.I. Joe emblems to customize your tanks with. And if you go on to collect 15 tokens, you will receive 5 extra emblems each to really and completely deck out your tanks with just all that G.I. Joe goodness. So download World of Tanks below, the link is in the description, and be sure to use the code GI Joe 21. With this code you will receive a T14 tank, 500,000 credits, and 7 days of a premium account, along with those G.I. Joe missions that you can complete to get your emblems to make your tanks look super bad cool. I don't think they want me to say bad words, so I'm playing it safe. World of Tanks!
Oh, it's Friday night. Don't know what I'm gonna do tonight. I could sit here and pick my nose while I watch a brand new video. Whoa, Top 5 Friday tonight.
Hey, look at me, I'm Wood, I'm doing a video. All right, so the first mystery is who's the floating head? Now, I get asked this a lot of times, and I'm sure I've answered it at some point or another, but long story short is that it was early in season 1 when we started using the green screen to record the interview footage. Dodongo was up, he was going to be recording his footage. He just got done and was about to go home, and a friend of his called Wayne was going to pick him up. Well, Wayne came into the apartment and he was wearing a green shirt, and I thought to myself, well, that would be kind of funny, just to have him sit on the green screen to just see what it would look like for him to be a floating head. So he does it, he sits down, just kind of starts wiggling around like that. And I said, well, what would a floating head say if it was a floating head? It would probably go around saying it's a floating head. So I said, hey Wayne, why don't you say I'm a floating head?
Now do this, go, ooh, I'm a floating head. Say I'm a floating head.
Oh, I'm a floating head, huh?
Okay, alright.
Really, the rest is history. There was no rhyme or reason or real purpose behind it, no awesome backstory or anything like that. And just to clarify, he isn't actually a floating head. There's not much of a big story to it. It's just a dude. Now, he's a cool dude. I mean, I like Wayne, but it's not like he's an alien or something. All right, so you know what's funny is I got asked this today. Where is Scott? Grimsey. Now, Grimsey first appeared in the Season 3 episode where we went down to Houston. Actually, it was a 2-parter. He was a fan. It was just a random fan who wanted to take us and treat us on his trip down to Houston. We were like, we've never been to Houston Game Chase. He doesn't seem like a maniac, hopefully.
Well, he got that wrong.
He kind of, he turned out, well, murdering maniac. He wasn't a murdering maniac.
He hasn't killed you. you.
Right, he hasn't killed us. So we figured, hey, why not? Let's just do it. So we did it. We went down there, and he turned out to be a pretty decent dude, pretty cool dude. After that, he appeared, occasionally, every so often on episodes from here and there. Most of those being like con episodes when we go to a convention. And that's the thing, he doesn't live close to us. He lives on the other side of the country from us. So the only time we would ever see him, if it wasn't a special occasion, like when he would come down, is if we met up at a convention. He hasn't been around for like the last 3 or 4 years, and I think that's mainly because he's not into the retro gaming scene as much as he used to be. His interests have moved on to other things, which is fine. People, it's ebbs and flows of life. You get into something and maybe you get into something else, which means that he's not going to the conventions like he used to. And when that happens and, we're not recording, he's not going to be on an episode. So that's it. I mean, it's not really any sort of like major, like, none of these are going to be juicy. Well, maybe the last one's juicy. I can't stop. Every time I hear juicy, I think ass. Oh, it's Friday night tonight. What was I talking about? Oh, yeah. So, number 3 on the list is... It involves one of my favorite episodes of all time, and that's when Jay found the PlayStation 2 display case, and we ended up finding the N64 display cases that were at the KB Toy Store in the Six Flags Mall in Arlington. I love this episode for multiple reasons. One, it's different than most of our normal episodes, and we found something just super rare and cool that you would never find, out in the wild ever. So we got super lucky with that. And it involved a place where we would go to all the time. The Six Flags Mall was just this phenomenal mall that we would go to. Well, maybe not phenomenal, but when you're where we grew up, it was the best we had, and we appreciated it and we loved it. We were there all the time. It was the mall I went to the most. So seeing the mall in the condition that it was in when we found those cabinets, it was kind of sad. About half of it was empty, leaking, and we just kind of knew it was just a matter of time before this mall was just gone forever. And so people have asked us, how's the mall now? Is it kicked back up? Did we find anything more at that mall? Is there other display cabinets there? Well, if there were, it's not anymore. That mall is no longer with us. It's in that great mall land in the sky.
Sky Mall?
Sky Mall. It's a Sky Mall. It's been destroyed. And now what lies there at this current time are a bunch of warehouses. So somebody bought the land and was like, we don't need this mall mucking up the joint anymore, and just destroyed it. It sucks. The mall was awesome. Sure, it was falling apart, but it was awesome. So that mall is no longer here. It is gone. Whatever contents were inside were either destroyed too, or could you imagine that? Like the crane is just like bashing in a wall, and then like it opened up some closet, and there was like a bunch of games at KB or whatever. It was like, oh, forgot those were there, and just spilling out, and the construction workers just get down off their crane and like, oh, look, it's from Mario, and there's Can you imagine that? Juice ass, juice ass. So here's another where did they go mystery. This one is by far the one that I get asked a lot. Where did Video Game Mike go? Now, Video Game Mike was one of the first person that we ever bought games from on camera. He was in the first episode. And he would periodically show up from time to time throughout the first couple of seasons, and then just dropped off the face of the earth. Well, he didn't really drop off the face of the earth in terms of like the actual earth, but in the show, he kind of did. That is because he stopped selling games. He would go constantly. That was pretty much his part-time job, was going out looking for games so he could go resell them. He was doing that well before we started shooting, and well into the second, probably even the third season of our show. Well, I guess it just dried up for him. He kind of lost interest, stops, just for whatever reason. Now, he may have picked it up at some point again, but then stopped it again. But I have not heard from him in like at least 5 years. I've not talked to him, and I honestly don't know. I can't really shed a whole lot of new intel on this mystery. All I can say is that there was no falling out. There was no, he didn't, as far as I know, he didn't die. Well, I mean, like I said, I haven't talked to him in 5 years. As far as I know, I mean, he's still out there looking like Everlast and existing. He's just, I just don't think he's out there selling games anymore. Last time I texted him was probably about 5 years ago. I was like, hey, you got anything to sell? We'd love to come by and shoot. And he's like, man, no. I gotta do it in the mic voice. Nah, man, I'm not selling no more. That's the mic voice. Hopefully one day we'll get him back on the show in some capacity. Don't know where he is. I just know that I don't think he's selling games anymore at this moment in time. So that's where Video Game Mike went. I don't feel like I answered that one, but that's all I have on Video Game Mike. Okay, so number 1 on the list is a cliffhanger. So on one of the episodes that we put up last year, it was a mini chode, Game Chasers mini chode, and it was us finding an abandoned building full of arcades. Now, we probably used the wrong terminology here, and I know I did, and it wasn't really abandoned. It looked abandoned. It looked like something out of like The Walking Dead or something. But no, somebody totally owned that property, and so you can't just, I mean, if it was abandoned, sure, nobody owned it. Sure, it's up for grabs, whatever. It's literally, there's no owner, sure, right? But no, somebody owned it. It's a piece of property that somebody owns. They're just let it just basically just go to waste and just rot away because they don't really care about it. Which means that whoever owns it and owns the insides of that those contents, in this case arcades, might be willing to say, hey, yeah, it's just sitting there, I'll sell it. So we went down to City Hall, tried to find the owner of the place. They gave us a few contacts, and we ended up tracking down the person who owned it. The only problem with that is they didn't really have any interest in seriously talking about going up there and looking through it and selling it. We tried to set up a meeting. We went down there, and the dude just didn't show up. After a while, I just got sick of calling, sick of just trying to hook up and try to get it. And the last I heard, it was they were sending renovators in there to renovate the building, and so I think they're trying to turn it into something else, or just I don't know. I couldn't get any straight answers from the owner. In fact, I couldn't even talk directly to the owner. It was through a proxy. I think we're going to make another trip down there here just to see if they're still there. But as of right now, that was well over a year ago. If you have a mystery that you want to know the answer to, then write it down below, because I know there are a lot of things that I didn't think about and cover, and all these things that I have on this list were things that you guys asked me. So I don't know what you guys consider mysteries, so if you have more, put them down below, and if there's 5 more, I'll do another one of these at some point, and